So today wanted to just speak a little bit, and I think I have a few minutes to talk to you about a child-friendly cities project that a couple geographers from SDSU's geography department, where our group is developing in the San Diego area, specifically in La Mesa. And I wanted to talk a little bit about child-friendly cities, what they are, maybe how it relates to geography, why geographers are interested in this. And I think I'm sure some of you who are participating might be interested too, to maybe do something like this in your city. So a child-friendly city is a city, a town, a community that is committed to improving the lives of children in their jurisdiction. So the children who are living in their city. And this definition, this was defined by UNICEF. So UNICEF is part of the United Nations. It's the United Nations Children's Fund. And this was defined by a UN convention. So the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child. And this is just like an international treaty or an agreement with different countries around the world. And there are a number of UN conventions. There's one on the law of the sea. There's another one on corruption. There's one against torture. But this UN convention is focused on the rights of the child, and it tries to get countries to agree to be committed to improving the lives of the children who are living in their country. So it's a pretty good cause. And actually, let me go back a little bit. And world leaders started thinking about child-friendly cities and this convention in 1989 when they realized that children, young people who are under the age of 18 might have different needs. They need maybe a little bit special care and maybe a little bit more protection than adults. So what does this convention spell out? It's basically, and what are the 5 goal areas? So basically, a child-friendly city in practice is a city where the voices of kids, the needs of kids, their priorities, and their rights are important for government policies, what the city government does, their decisions, their programs. So what children need, this is a very important part in the way governments decide, on the laws that they make, in the programs that they develop. And there are 5 goal areas for child-friendly cities. So I have them here around the hand. So the first one is that every child and young person should be valued. They should be respected and treated fairly in their communities and by their local leaders. The second goal area is that every child and young person should have their voice, their needs, their priorities heard and taken into account. And like I said, in laws, policies, programs, every child should have access to quality social services, and every child should live in a safe, clean environment, secure environment, and every young person has the opportunity to enjoy family life, has the right to play and to leisure. So in a child-friendly city, these 5 goal areas are met, but also in a child-friendly city, even if these goal areas are not met, the local governments and the community organizations that are part of these cities, the leaders, the schools, they're really trying to meet these goals. Even if they're not met at the moment, they're working together to meet these goals. And what's important with UNICEF's child-friendly city work is that it's not only local governments, it's not only community organizations and leaders that are trying to make cities better for kids, but it's children themselves. It's young people themselves that are working to improve their lives and their situations. So in a child-friendly city, young people's opinions they matter. Young people are asked what they think should be different in their city. They're asked by people in their local government. They're asked by community leaders, by their schools. They're part of the conversation. So I'm going to quickly go through some of this and try to show you some examples of ways that we can get young people involved in making their cities a better place for them. So like I mentioned earlier, we're starting this process in San Diego, so specifically in La Mesa, and that's why I'm talking about this. It's a project that is ongoing right now. So far, there are no child-friendly cities in the US. There are only cities that are trying to become child-friendly, that are doing this work to become child-friendly. And I'll show a map a little bit later. We have child-friendly, I'll just quickly go to that map then. Yeah. So here are the countries in the world that have child-friendly cities, and you can see that the US is red, which means that we have cities who are working on it, but so far they haven't been recognized as a child-friendly city. So other countries seem to be more invested in this work. This seems to be maybe a priority in the way they govern. But we're trying to change that, at least in San Diego. So some ways that cities try to involve kids and try to listen to hear the opinions of young people is maybe incorporating this in lesson plans. So for instance, UNICEF Canada and some Canadian cities, schools ask children to play these roles, ask students to play these roles, pretend that they are the mayor, the reporter, the city council, and the citizen, and they ask them, if you are a mayor, what would you change in your city? How would you run your city? How would you make your city fun? What is fun about your city? How would you make it a better place? And this kind of youth involvement and participation, like I said, happens in other cities around the world. So like I said, there are many examples of child-friendly cities. Here, for instance, in Mumbai, India, this is how the project team is engaging young people, having them each of the, on the left-hand column, you see different goal areas represented by an image, and children rank the goal area, how if they think the city is accomplishing goal. For instance, is this city safe for children? You would give it a 20. Is it not? You would give it a 1. So this is how they engage children. In the Philippines, in Haiti, you have children engaged, asking them for their opinions about their city and their perspectives. In Rio de Janeiro, in Brazil, is another example of a child-friendly city and how they involve young people. In Sudan, sometimes the activities are different. Instead of asking participants to rank, and it depends on the age group, they ask them to move objects into different categories. And finally, children are also asked to map places. So just geography, the way we're talking about this. Map places that you feel are safe. Do you have places to play? Are there enough playgrounds for children in your community? And there are outcomes. There are concrete outcomes of these efforts. So one, the individual feels like they are more aware of children's rights. Children feel like, we have rights. We should live in a better community. Also, improved communication between generations, between children and adults, children and community leaders. And if we go to the other column, outcomes in the community, there have actually been concrete improvements in the community. For instance, in Rio de Janeiro, children and their advocates, through their advocacy, they were able to convince local government to put up this pedestrian bridge so they could a safer route to school, so they can get to school in a safer manner. So young people can make a difference. So I showed this map, and we are trying to, like I said, we have a project in the San Diego County area, in La Mesa specifically. We are working with local government right now, La Mesa City government, with the school district there, with some community organizations there, and with students in the La Mesa Spring Valley School District to hear about problems that they have in their community, ideas that they have about how to make their community better. And hopefully it could be the first child-friendly city in San Diego County, but not the last. Hopefully we can have more child-friendly cities in San Diego. I don't know if there's time for questions, but if there is.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jasmine.